So you've just published the first ever BNG Industry Report. Why did you feel the need to produce the document?
We feel pretty strongly at Biodiversity Units that we're part of an industry, and it's a new fledgling industry. I should say it's a bloody brilliant industry as well, right? It is rewilding and restoring nature across England. The people involved in it should get out of bed every day, chuffed to bits with what they're doing, because it's a brilliant thing. We should also commend the legislation and the government or the governments for having brought it in. It's utterly brilliant. So, we felt quite strongly it was important to showcase the progress and that everything that's been done over the sort of 17 months, and actually where it was going, so that people could see how this fledgling industry has grown pretty big. And obviously, as you'll see, by 2035, it's talking about being a £3 billion market. So yeah, that was really the sort of driving force behind it. And I suppose at Biodiversity Units, we're lucky that we work with all of these habitat bank operators. And I say operators because some of them have 30 sites and some of them have one or two. So, and we felt that we were in quite a strong position to ask them all for their insights and combine that data and showcase it. And so that was the reason. And so yeah, we wanted to put something out into the market showing how it's all progressing and how it's all moving forward.
And from the data you collected, what has been the most interesting insights as an overview from your point of view?
Okay, so I think there's the big headline bits, a £3 billion market, 21,000 acres so far set aside for nature restoration, 91,000 BNG units being created, in the process of being created, which creates this £3 billion market. If you look at the valuation of those units and combine it with our pricing report data, I guess they're the shouty stats. But I think for me, some of the really interesting things are around actually, if you looked at it as an industry and as a functioning market and an industry, you've got big players, you've got big nationwide players, five or six of them, some bigger than others, but you've got some regional players, and then you've got some great examples of independent landowners and farmers doing it themselves and selling those units out to the market. And I think that's just utterly brilliant, and shows actually an industry developing. There's not just one player, so that's great for the industry. I think some of the insights we found around farming and farmers and revenue for them, I think is pretty powerful, particularly at the moment where I think they're having a bit of a hard time for various reasons. And actually, a lot of them have identified this as a potential additional revenue stream, and actually, quite often, an additional revenue stream out of unproductive land. So it doesn't even need to become am I farming to create food or not, or rewilding it. It can be a combination of those things, and I think that's pretty powerful. So I'm really hopeful, and I think for farmers, they want to know that this is a real thing, right? They're going to be committing their land to do this, and they want to know that there's going to be actual revenue. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think there's a lot more optimism. I think it was really interesting to see how much money has been privately invested into this market so far, 325 million of investment. I suppose, look, the thing that everyone in the industry is looking for is certainty and security. So at the moment, there's a consultation about the micro end of the market for small house builders and indies, which, probably arguably is something that it's like a fine tuning. But everyone knows that to run a business, you need certainty and security. So everyone wants to just know from government that this is here to stay. And obviously, it seems to be that case. But that's one of the messages we wanted to try and get, that if you want investment into an industry, you've got to back it and support it with certainty.
And personally, as someone who's been in sort of at the forefront of the industry before the legislation came into play, what do you feel reflecting on the state of the nation that you've collated?
I suppose if I look back like the last 3 years of working in BNG, one reflection is it isn't what I thought it would be back then, or our business certainly wasn't. But actually, the way it's maturing is really positive and exciting. There's so many amazing partners that we work with and habitat banks right across the spectrum. And every so often you get like these. And the one thing to say in the report, we've taken some time we call it a beautiful, natural, glorious. And we just had a few slides in there just to showcase the actual thing that's being done here. So we'd really welcome, by the way, more of that photography from our partners to use in that Beautiful Natural Glorious campaign. So seeing that's great, seeing how it's gone from almost no supply to loads of supply. And there's a guy called Angus Walker who's worth following on LinkedIn that like regularly posts where all the different habitat banks are. And it's great to see all the different suppliers and all the habitat banks being created. So I think it's just been fantastic to see it, but it is really quite a nascent market, obviously.